If you woke up one day with the powers of Superman, how long would it actually take before you hurt someone? Not because you were evil and not because you wanted to, but because you're still human. Today, I want to walk you through that question that I've been wrestling with while making my own comic book, God Given, and it's one thing I think a lot of people haven't really thought about deeply enough. In my comic book, God Given, there's only one superhero in the entire world, and that's my main character, Sam. He doesn't have a Justice League or an Avengers team, and he's not an alien from a different planet. He's just a guy who wakes up one day and realizes that he has these insane world-ending powers. Flight, super strength, invulnerability. But here's the thing, powers don't automatically make you perfect. Sam is still a human being. He still gets tired emotionally. He gets angry, scared, just like the rest of us. And that's where this real question comes in. I've been thinking about this question a lot lately as I'm preparing to make my future issues of this comic book. Because if a normal, good-hearted person suddenly had the power to crush steel in their hands, could they really control their power or their strength 100% of the time? Because I remember this scene from the Justice League TV show where Superman says he feels like he lives in a world made of cardboard, and he constantly has to put an effort to not break something or someone.
I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die.
But Superman has been living his entire life in this world, so he's had years to prepare himself to not accidentally hurt someone. But what if someone like me, a 25-year-old married man, suddenly woke up with that strength? It would be hard to control it. It's such a new thing. And so if a normal, kind-hearted person suddenly had this power, could they control it? Imagine trying to break up a fight, or imagine trying to pull someone out of a burning car, or imagine facing a murderer or a child trafficker or a terrorist. In the heat of a moment like that, if you had this emotional surge, would it be hard to not just hit someone, Would it be that hard to accidentally grab someone a little too rough? Or would anger, justified anger, ever slip out before you could reel it back in? And if it did, what would that do to you? I hope that makes sense, but if you just had this world-ending strength and you just kind of lost your cool for a moment, I feel like it would be really easy to accidentally hurt someone. But that's kind of the heart of the story I want to tell in my comic book God Given, is emotional weight. Because my main character, Sam, he wants to be a hero. When he woke up with these powers randomly on just some random day, he believes that they're from God because he's a religious man and superpowers aren't real. Because if that happened to me in real life, I would think they're from God because there's no other explanation. So Sam, he wants to be a hero and he wants to do what he thinks is right. And he wants to honor this gift that he believes that were given to him by God. But he's still Sam. He's still a human being. He's grown up human. He's made so many mistakes before in his life. And the idea that mistake or just any mistake could now cost someone their life just from one slip up, that's something heavy that I feel like anyone would have to deal with. In God Given, I'm exploring that question and what happens when you try to do good, but you're carrying the weight of unimaginable power at the same time. When the tiniest slip up could turn you from a savior to a villain without you even meaning to. Now, this is the part of my story where I'm still debating if I should put this in, but I want to hear your thoughts, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, because let's go a little deeper. Let's say Sam, my main character, accidentally unalives someone. Do you think the public would forgive him? Would he forgive himself? Would politicians use that to blackmail him, to control him? Would cults form to defend him or to tear him down? Would people start seeing him not really as a man anymore, as someone that's trying their best, but as some sort of nuclear bomb waiting to go off? Because the truth is, no matter how much good you do, When you have that much power, people will always be afraid, and fear changes everything. I know I'm probably just rambling a little bit because this is something I'm just trying to figure out for my story and the kind of the direction I want to take. But imagine one day you're just watching the news and all of a sudden there's breaking news and there's someone flying, like Superman flying over the White House, and everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh my gosh, this is a real life person with real life superpowers. Would you instantly start thinking, oh my gosh, they could destroy the whole world? Or would you instantly start thinking, we have a new superhero, this is so cool? There's just so many different things I want to explore in this comic, and that's why God-Given is so special to me. Because this story isn't really about a hero fighting monsters in every issue. It's about fighting himself. Fighting to stay good, fighting to stay humble, and fighting to believe that even if he messes up, there's still purpose for him. And that purpose is faith and what he believes. And it's about forgiveness, and it's about what it really means to carry a gift that you never really asked for. So that's kind of what I'm still deciding. Will Sam, or should Sam, have a moment where he makes the ultimate mistake? Or will he somehow, against all odds, keep that line clean? If you know what I mean. Either way, this journey it's a real story in my mind because I kind of base the main character around me. Because I came up with this story when I was going to Utah State University, and it was the first time I really started struggling with some mental health challenges. And I realized that when I would walk to campus from my apartment, it was about a 20-minute walk, my mind would just be racing. And I noticed that I started daydreaming a lot. It came to the point where I realized this daydreaming or my imagination was kind of helping me cope and helping me not think about the stress and anxiety. And so I started using that to my advantage. And so I started just kind of putting different scenarios in my head. And one of those scenarios, or I guess a question that I would put in my head was, if I woke up tomorrow with superpowers, realistically, what would I do? And so over the weeks, over my 3 or 4 times I would walk to campus every day, I would just think about that question. And over the weeks that scenario in my head became so much more complex. And that's where God-Given came from. Because this story is just kind of about me. And I don't want that to sound bad, but it is. I just kind of based the main character around me, of different struggles I face, struggles with mental health, struggle with coping with mistakes and forgiveness, and also struggling with faith and regret and a lot of different things, because I believe a lot of people in this world deal with things like that. And that's just kind of the story that I wanted to tell with this. A lot of people tell me that I shouldn't infuse a story like this with religion and faith because that kind of cuts my demographic or interested readers out of the equation. Not a lot of people want to read about something religious, but that may be true. But this is really the story that I want to tell for right now in this story. And I just hope it works out. And I'm just trying to save up every penny I have so I can fund the next couple of issues. But I'm just so excited to tell this story. And if you want to see how this story unfolds, you should check it out. The first issue's out, and I'm working on the second script right now. And I'm also trying to run and start a Kickstarter to help fund the next issues as well. But thank you so much for just listening to me ramble. But hey, let me know in the comments if what would you do in my situation of if you had Superman's powers, what do you think you would do? Would you go your whole life trying to do what's good, or would you do something else? I don't know. I'm genuinely curious, but thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next one.